And it goes on Matthew 5, verses 31 to 37. On Monday we just looked at the importance of avoiding sexual immorality, and that even guarding our eyes, and that we can sin in the heart, and that sex is just for the marriage bed. It's only for a husband and wife, and it ratifies the union of them becoming one flesh, ratifies the covenant that is made between a husband and wife until death do them part. And so that is an important covenant. And therefore in verse 31 it was said, whoever sends his wife away, let him give her a certificate of divorce. And Jesus is saying, when can you divorce someone? But I say to you, verse 32, that everyone who divorces his wife, except for the reason of unchastity, except for the reason of sexual immorality or adultery, so that's the only reason you could give someone a certificate of divorce, is if they've broken that marriage covenant, they've united themselves sexually with another partner, they've broken that intimacy. In that case, and that doesn't have to happen, but it's so serious that would be the only case that one would allow a divorce. Okay, and it goes on to say, if you do divorce someone without that reason, you make her commit adultery. In other words, marriage is designed by God. Most people do not have the gift of celibacy. Most people are designed for marriage, and therefore most people need to get married. In fact, it says a woman, even a widow, should remarry. And so marriage is something designed by God, and so because we're designed to get married, if you send someone away a divorce, there's a good chance they'll get remarried. And when they remarry, they're now committing adultery, because they are still joined, they're still one, they still have that covenant with the old partner. And just because you've given them a certificate of divorce doesn't mean in God's eyes they're divorced. And so you make her commit adultery, and whoever remarries a divorced woman commits adultery, because she has a covenant with her old partner before God until death do us part. And you send her away, she remarries, she's still one with that person, and therefore you are committing adultery with that woman. Luke 16 puts it like this: everyone who divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery, and he who marries a woman divorced from her husband commits adultery. So very straightforward, Luke puts it. Either way you look at it, unless there's been infidelity, there's been adultery, and there's been a proper divorce where that person has severed that contract, any other divorce and remarriage is considered as adultery. Verse 33 again, you have heard that ancients were told, you shall not make false vows, but you fulfill your vows to the Lord. And so now we move on to letting your yes be yes and no be no, and not making these promises. We tend to want to try and make things look, try secure agreement by adding a clause in and saying, I cross my heart, I hope to die, and I promise on this person, on that person, I promise on heaven and God. We should never promise outside of what we can't fulfill. Only God knows the future. Only God has all things in his hands. He is the one who controls heaven and earth, and so we can't promise on anything like that. Verse 34, but I say to you, make an oath, do not make an oath at all, either by heaven, nor by the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is the footstool of his feet, or by Jerusalem, for it is a city of the great King. Don't start making promises on this and that. Verse 36, nor shall you make an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Don't even make an oath on yourself, because even yourself is in control of God, by God. He's appointed when you were born, and he's appointed when you'll die. But let your statement be yes or no. Anything beyond these is of evil. And so all we can do is do our best to fulfill the obligation and say, yes, I will do that, or no, I will not do that, and hold by what we have said. James 5:12 puts it like this: but above all, my brothers, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. Amen.